My name is Chuck Thompson for World Emergency. We manufacture emergency disaster supply equipment for earthquakes, fires, floods, and civil unrest. We're currently developing emergency disaster facilities. Facilities that are portable and that can be operated at a moment's notice. These facilities are built out of solid steel. They will survive about an 8.5 earthquake without any real structural damage, or perhaps about 1 million pounds of pressure if it was in a storm or typhoon, hurricane. They're very, very strong. Again, and they're portable. You can place them upon a truck or a shipping car or a train car and transport them anywhere in the world. They can also be drop shipped by helicopter. These emergency disaster facilities run on their own power. The ESP monolith system, Energy Solar Power Systems, run all the electrical applications within inside the unit 24 hours a day without being hooked up to any outside local power source. This gives our facilities a great deal of flexibility. You can place our centers inside a supermarket or next to a hospital. We would like to provide the CDC with these emergency disaster centers. We believe if there's a terrorist attack threat or such citizens in any given city come down with symptoms of whether it's anthrax or any other biological agent, then they would simply be able to go to these CD centers that are already set up in those major cities and be tested. When the outbreaks of anthrax came out earlier, the CDC, of course, was stretched to the limit, needing to rush to place and examine these patients. However, we believe that if we set up these emergency disaster centers and have doctors and nurses and volunteers trained to run these facilities, then the CDC would not be so pressured and stretched out, and proper examinations that take time would be able to take place. These emergency disaster centers, again, we will set up with all the necessary equipment inside, all of the medical supplies and equipments and shelvings and lighting and things that you would need to examine such patrons. Again, they are very, very portable. We believe when the hoof and mouth disease outbreak came about throughout England and, of course, spread throughout other places where people were in those infected areas, a lot of the passengers were detained, of course. Now, they can be brought to these emergency disaster facilities, such as for the CDC or Health and Human Service Department, or, of course, working directly with that airline to, of course, examine the passengers that come off of these airlines in those infected areas. And, of course, they can be examined quickly within our facility that is very portable, right from the airline. As the passengers come off the airline, of course, they go through a chute area. Now, these affected passengers or suspected affected passengers would come off the same terminal area, but they would come right into the portable center, and they can be examined within that portable center. And, of course, if they're found too infected to come through, then they can be turned back and, of course, flown back to their previous destination. This is the flexibility that we have with these emergency disaster centers. These are medical facilities, facilities that can be set up with the various showers inside and the sterilizing equipment to, of course, do the proper examination and the proper screening and the proper cleaning of those people who are suspected to come from those affected areas. These emergency disaster centers, again, we can place at all of the various distributed areas that you would need them in the various cities. We believe that the CDC should have an emergency disaster center, these facilities, these medical portable facilities, in every major city throughout the United States. Of course, World Emergency will maintain these centers, having their own personnel there to field the calls of any information given, and if there's an outbreak in that given area, or if it's in a remote area that's not in the center, that's not in the city where this center is currently, then we would transport it to that remote area within that area of that city, and of course those who are suspected to be affected can be treated and examined at that place. Again, we will run these centers free of charge, and we will supply the equipment within the guidelines requested by the CDC. We appreciate very much for you to get back with us in regards to our proposal so we can give you our presentation in detail. Of course, you can call us at 947-7778. You can email us at worldemergency@mail.com. And of course, you can view a lot of the other products and services that we have at worldemergency.com. We appreciate that you would get back with us in regards to this presentation so we can set it in place very, very soon.